So, what has Excelsior's domain been picking up from eBay? Let's have a look. Welcome to Bearbylon 5. Now, I've shown you some of these types of figures before, but I've not had Virkoto before. This is very kindly picked up for me by Gareth of Cosmic Toys when he was on his travels. And I've just been to check because there was something niggling at me, and I was right. This is Virkoto with a heavy warship from the Centauri Republic. And I've actually forgotten what the official name of the ship is, and I'm not even going to guess because I know I'll get it wrong. It's not a Vorchan. They're the ones with 4 wings. It's the heavier one that goes up against Bearbylon 5 at the end of Season 2. But what's interesting about it is it wasn't a ship that was covered by the Micro Machines series. So I have a decent collection in my other room of all the Micro Machines that Bearbylon 5 got as part of, the sort of the toys that were released at the time the show was current, which wasn't many. So the only other way that you could get ships of the line was in these packs, and these ships are actually slightly larger than the Micro Machines issues, but oftentimes they looked like blown up versions of the Micro Machines ones in terms of size, not in terms of being in pieces. So this is the only way you could actually get that cruiser from that episode, and it's one of the reasons why I have sort of half thought about getting more of these 6-inch figures, which I believe is what they are, because you do get the ships with them, but then of course I wouldn't want to open them to get the ships out, which is a dilemma. So I've always liked the packaging for these. It says exactly what it is. It says who it is, what they've got with them. Nice station shot at the top there, and they're quite big. The card is quite large for them as well. But you can see, it's a good likeness of Vir. And you've got little tiny sort of gun emplacements on the top of the ship there, which is nice. So it's a decent model at a decent size. You could actually see it when it's on the shelf. It doesn't stretch to a stand for it, mind you. But like the Micro Machines versions, but it's not bad. It's not bad. So yeah, it's I'm going to see if it actually the heavy warship of Centauri Republic was used in decimation of the non-homeworld at the end of the non-Centauri War. Well, yeah, that's accurate. It's still not giving me the official name for it though, which is irritating. But yeah, I do like these. I mean, I think they took them pretty seriously. As you can see there, there's Ambassador Delenn, Captain John Sheridan, who I've got, Ambassador Jakar, who I haven't got. Londo, Susan, who I have got. I haven't got Kosh, and Marcus Cole. See, and Marcus Cole has got the White Star, so that's definitely one I would, if I saw it, I'd probably grab it. But I haven't seen that very often. There was a guy who was selling, I think, the full range of these once, but it was more than I could afford. I mean, they probably weren't unreasonable prices for each of them. But these are not, generally speaking, expensive to pick up at toy fairs. There isn't a huge sort of demand for them, so worth the while getting hold of it if you can. Now, I've had this on my eBay watch list for a long time, simply because there wasn't a lot of Bearbylon 5 merchandise, full stop, and this just makes me smile a bit because it's the sort of the irony, in a sense, of having a show that was created, had lots of its effects created using CGI, which came out on a video cassette still. so this exclusive limited edition video box set has videotapes in it, but it also came with a book, and the book I've probably shown you, sort of along the way at some point, I suspect. So box set contains Babylon 5 in the beginning video, Babylon 5 third space video, Creating Babylon 5 book, and the Babylon 5 keyring torch. Oh yes. So, you know, it is, as they say, what it is. But I think it's quite a nice thing to put together. And here you have. Now, I think I already have this somewhere else, so I wasn't getting it particularly for this. But I like the fact that, 30 years on now, it's still, someone's still kept it together with the box and the videos. And, as you can see, this is quite sort of early on. I mean, it's got Sheridan in it, so it's not really, really early. But it's got some nice stills and stuff, various Narn heads there in a row. That's a nice shot of the sort of the early cast there. That's a very sort of classic one. I think you see that around quite a lot, but it's nice to see them all together like that. Also, it's very, very sad to think how many of them have passed since, but that is the way of it, I'm afraid. So yeah, it's an interesting little book. I really ought to just sit and read it at some point actually, then I can give you a report back on the video, which reminds me of another video I need to do. I've got a lot of videos on my list at the moment, but I digress. So what we've got here then, just around this way, is Babylon 5 in the beginning, the first sensational Babylon 5 movie. Because I would give reasonable money that this is a sort of TNT driven thing, although why it came out in the UK I wouldn't care to say, but you can see TNT's logo there is emblazoned on the back of this. Running time 90 minutes. The first Babylon 5 feature film. And this was part of the TNT renewal of the series into season 5 when they were really trying to push it, and they produced a number of these sort of TV films to help promote the series basically for the TNT viewership. So yeah, I mean that this is a, and the thing is, I mean, I'm laughing, but actually a lot of this stuff was how I actually sort of either became aware of the series or possibly even watched it for the first time. I'm not quite sure which order. I definitely watched them on Channel 4, pretty religiously, it has to be said. But I was aware of the series being out in video rental stores at the time as well. So we were still well into that sort of era where you still rented stuff on physical videotapes. On demand online was not a thing at that point in time. And of course we've got Third Space here, the second spectacular Babylon 5 movie. And Sherry Belafonte, I guess, is the guest star lady there, who is the scientist in Third Space. So again, they're going for sort of the big sort of, action kind of pull to try and really sort of get TNT viewers into the series and introduce them to it as well. In the beginning was very much, the irony is you can't watch at the beginning of your Babylon 5 journey, because if you do, you spoil yourself for certain things. Not radically, but it's enough that you don't really want to go there until you've actually known a bit more about the backstory. And this amuses me as well, because, would you believe it, it actually works. Clearly powered by the first ones still. Or that or Zatras has been at it to fix it. It just makes me smile, because it's the sort of thing that you'd expect to get in like a Christmas cracker or something, isn't it? But it's copyright 1998, Warner Home Video UK Limited. So maybe this was maybe this was actually just a UK only promotional thing. I don't know. But I love that. That's just hilarious. For reference, it takes AA batteries. There you go. That's funny. That's funny. But it's an unfortunate reflection on the lack of merchandise for the series that I'm getting excited about Small Torch with Babylon 5 emblazoned upon it. I mean, it is what it is, though, I'm afraid. And that's it. But it's quite nice to get one that does have the torch, I suppose, if nothing else, and the book. So actually, if I'd actually got that as a Christmas present or a birthday present, I would have been quite happy with that. Sounds odd to say, doesn't it? I know, but actually I would have been genuinely happy with that at that point in time. So if you remember that, getting that box set at any point in time, and it is literally a box set. I mean, that's the other funny thing about it, isn't it? It's literally a box set, but not perhaps in the conventional sense. There you go, and I shall pop the Creating Babylon 5 book by David Bassam back in the box as well, and I'll have to come back to that at some point and possibly clean up the front cover, such as far as I can anyway. But it was one of those eBay things where the guy gave me an offer on it, and I thought, well, for the sake of showing it to you, and because it's complete, I thought I'll just go for it, even though the frontage is a little bit battered. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? And there's a little bit of the history of the series, and a little bit of history of multimedia as well. I mean, I'm looking now at a box full of old sci-fi VHSs that clearly no one wants, but it was fun to look through them again, because they're probably a little blast from the past. That is how things were done back then. So yeah. In terms of Babylon 5 stuff, I do have a review of the first of the books that I need to do for you. So keep an eye open for that one. It might even come out before this one, actually, to be honest. But because I'm commuting again, I'm going to have a bit more time to do that sort of thing. So that's it for this one. Cheers for now.